Okay, y'all are gifted. And I know that's motherfucking right. Oh, I know that my collective wouldn't be anything less than gifted. Okay? And you all up in this channel, every single which one of you is gifted. One thing for certain is that it's found deep within a substance that is very much unlike it. For example, a diamond in the fucking rough.
What's going on, everybody?
Like what you would
Just getting myself together because this is going to be a deep message.
You guys don't look like you'd be intuitive baddies. You guys don't look like you would know what you know. You guys don't look like you know, like your prayers would be all that strong or this or that, or, you know, you don't look like what you are. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You see how it's bright in the midst of bullshit? Yeah, you stand out like a motherfucking gem in the dark, okay? Surrounded by shit. Okay, maybe you were born into a nasty ass fucking family, alright? And all around it is gunk, nasty. And you know what's funny? What did I hear? I heard the other day. The generational curse breaker is not gonna ask for advice. Is not gonna seek validation. It is gunk, nasty. And you know what's funny? What did I hear? I heard the other day. The generational curse breaker is not gonna ask for advice. Is not gonna seek validation from the motherfucking generation that was cursed. The curse breaker doesn't ask the fucking generation that's cursed for advice, which is the living right now. Okay? You can't find it when you're among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop slow.
How's everybody doing? I had a little glitch out in the first video, but with technology, we're just going to blend both together. But if somehow I can't do that, then welcome everybody to the realest show that you'll ever find. This download is super crucial, but in order to be a life coach, you have to be transparent with your journey, with your experiences. So hopefully it can help others. If you guys see the background picture, you guys already know what time it is. It's either to my left or my right, depending on what the format I choose to put this video out. But let me take one more hit. How ironic, right? With the picture, taking a hit of some ganja, which is true medicine. This is going to be a heartfelt message. This is going to be an economy message to separate the boys from the men. Okay. So I'm all about healing and unifying the world. So we're going to have to get it cracking. You know, if we, as elders, are supposed to usher in the youth correctly, then we have to have this conversation tonight. It's going to be a deep one. Let's get my words right. All right. Thank you guys for your patience. How's everybody feeling on this lovely Monday nights or whatever? Whenever you tune into this message, is timeless. All right, it's timeless. So whenever you find it, it's meant for you. Hopefully, you know. Right now, it's a Monday night, but whenever you find it, it could be whatever night or daytime. Doesn't matter. But we're gonna get right into it. You see the background. It's about drugs. That's what the download I've been getting recently is to talk to the world about drugs, which is a very uncomfortable topic to talk about. But I've lost a lot of friends and family off of drugs because people are too afraid to talk about the issue, especially when it's amongst your family. You know, you have loved ones that you know. You got your Uncle Ronnie that be drinking too much, right? Or you got your buddy Steven that loves the arm candy, you know? Or you got your PPs, you got your pill poppers, you know? You got your marijuana heads. You have your heads, all right? Shit, I got some on my lip. Ain't no shame in the game. This is why we call this No Filter. This is the realest show you ever going to see. So we're going to talk about an issue that is affecting everybody, want to believe it or not. Maybe you may be walking the straight and narrow, but I guarantee somebody in your family ain't. Somebody in your family slapping their veins in some shadowy corner right now with their back heart hunched. All right? You know what I'm saying? This is not a funny matter at all. But you got to blend some humor in with truth so it can digest properly. I can't just be sitting here like this. Imagine if I did a video like that for 20 minutes straight. You guys be fixing the screen like, is there something wrong with my phone? But I hear ambient noise in the background, so it looks like he's not frozen. What's going on? You like do the timeline. It's 20 minutes in, it's the same thing, but I'm hearing some noise in the background. Thought about doing videos like that for a minute, but let's get to it. This video is about drugs, okay? And hopefully it's not going to be a long one, but let's get into it as best as I can. Hopefully this will save many lives because we need to get to it. A lot of times in this climate, we just talk about war, politics, sports, women, celebrities, video games you like, with cartoons, magazines you like to read, what vacations you like to take, what cars you about to buy, what shirts you about to buy, what shoes, what purse, what earrings, what diamonds. Basically talk about everything under the sun except for drugs and drug abuse and drug usage. Let me take you back in time just to make this more of a digestible message. When I was in elementary, there was a program called DARE. D-A-R-E. D period A period R period E. And it was a drug enforcement to educate the youth about the dangers of drugs. And when you would be in school, they would put in a VHS tape and they would have all these stories about people getting arrested for getting caught up with drugs or how they even started with drugs. It would start with a household. And the kids would be seeing the parents argue a lot. The mother would be upset because the father would not come home until late at night. So the son would always hear the mother crying in the kitchen. Then the father would bust home whatever hour of the night, cursing, yelling, reeking of alcohol, and being abusive to his mother. So this kid lived with that for years, when he was a youth until he was a teenager. And long story short, that kid started taking after his father. Him and his mother didn't really have a connection because he was too scared to stand up for his mother and too scared and terrified of his own father to be any help. So he felt useless in the whole situation. So he ended up going to bars with his friends that had similar situations, and they would drink. And I would hear this term called the gateway. It's gateway drugs. People would say, if you start drinking, that'll lead to other drugs. It's a gateway to other drugs. So maybe drinking led to taking pills, sniffing a little whatever, or injecting yourself to feel better, to not face your current situation that you're going through. Can we judge you for what you're doing right now? Can we say you're a bad person? No, not at all. That's a situation that I don't wish upon my worst enemy. But we have to address it if we ever want to come up with a solution, or we're just going to keep on sweeping this issue under the rug and hopefully our politicians will deal with it, right? Or these drug rehab clinics would just deal with your cousins or your family or whatever, whoever they may be in your life. Just put them in a facility and they would deal with them instead of us dealing with the real issues. That's another problem with this society we live in. Our parents get old, we just put them in a nursing home. Somebody else will deal with them. When back in the day, we would take care of our family, have your grandmothers, grandfathers living with you until they transition to the next phase. And that was just a part of the privilege to be a family. There was a saying back in the day, it takes a village to raise a family, and that was actually literally true. Everybody would chip in. If the mother was away, then the next door neighbor would be that person's mother. That person would discipline that child, feed that child, shelter it, just like it was his own biological mother. But nowadays society is so individualistic that nobody cares about anybody besides himself, which leads to this topic tonight, which is drugs. We all have family members or friends that we know that may be going through a drug problem, and we may be too afraid to talk to them about that issue. And if we are too afraid to address the issue or the elephant in the room, then that can lead to death. It can lead to death because of our fear. See where I'm getting at with this message? If this message happens to cut off, you guys get the general gist of this message. We need to speak up about loved ones that we know that may be under the influence or abusing the whatever drugs they are on. We need to save them. I had a friend tell me last year that if an addict is an addict, you can't do anything, Alonzo, to help that person. And I really felt like I could. I really felt like if I just talked to that person, I can put some sense into them and provide a different perspective, and find out what is the main issue for them to even do what they're doing. It's all about the origin of the matter versus us just naturally thinking, oh, they're old enough, they're grown adults, they know what they're doing. And then we end up reading in the paper, anyone reads newspapers anymore, or seeing on the news or the timeline that person has died. And then you say to yourself, man, I just saw that person the other day. And you didn't say nothing to him or her. It must eat you up inside. But a lot of our friends and surrounding support systems would just say, it's okay, Johnny, don't worry about it. That person was on a dark path regardless. It's okay, because we have been so indoctrinated to put people that are... Forgive me, I ran out of storage. It's getting too real for the world out there, so it cut me off. We have too many loved ones out here that we've been indoctrinated just to put in our minds, oh, they're a druggie, they went down the wrong path, it's out of my control. And so we just dismiss them. It's very similar to when we see homeless people on the street, which I hate to say that term, but I'm just saying that so we can all relate, or misfortunate people that we see homeless on the streets, and we see the majority of people walk past them with their cell phones in their hand like they don't exist. Or if you're at a stoplight, at the intersections, and they're sitting there and they have their cups out or their signs, most people would just act like they're busy and act like they're looking for change or something versus looking at that human being in the eye like they actually exist. Most people that do that at the intersections, I actually do the opposite. I look at my change. I look at the person. I say, look down, I may have 2 pennies. I will say, here's 2 pennies. I'm sorry, this is all I have. And I look at my back seat, I may have a bottle of water. Hey, you want something to drink? Because it looks like you may need something to drink. Or I may have some tangerines. I'll give them something to compensate on top of that dollar. Because a lot of people's mentality is like, I can't give them money, they're just going to get more drugs. Which brings back to my point again, to the origin of everything. You don't know that person's story. You have been indoctrinated to believe that person deserves to be there. They did it to themselves. They gave up on themselves. A lot of people that have that type of response are very surface level observers, in my opinion. That's why the show's called No Filter. We're a like-minded community that we can talk without getting offended about how we feel. Think tank. That's the 3rd time the video deleted, so I'm going to wrap this up really quick, okay? Instead of looking at people that is in unfortunate situations as they're not human, I believe we need to look more into our hearts and our souls and have more empathy towards that individual. And the easiest way, in my opinion, is to put yourself in that situation, right? And instead of judging somebody, immediately put yourself in that person's situation with no judgment. Immediately. Like if you're in the car, just immediately imagine if you had the powers just to switch positions. Okay? And you're sitting out there on the curb with your signs up and you know that you had it rough. And you're not that stereotype that every car that's driving past you is giving a body language that you are, right?